of 28th of January. First of all, item 1 to confirm the minutes are the minutes of the previous meeting, which was at least last year. Are they agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.
Just one thing. I'm not a member of Community Action Decorum. I'm a trustee, for accuracy's sake.
Okay. Can that be noted, please? So, do we have any apologies for absence not among the cabinet? No. Are there any declarations of interest from any members or trustees?
Is on the agenda again. I am a trustee of Community Action Decorum.
And it is a trustee, not a member. Okay, thank you. Item 4 is public participation. There isn't any. Item 5, referrals to Cabinet. Are there any referrals to Cabinet? Item 6, the Cabinet forward plan. Is there anything we need to cover on that?
Yeah, there are a couple of changes. The Climate Emergency Fund is on tonight, not next month, as is the Council Tax Assessing Committee, so they will come on.
Okay. And so the first substantive item is the item 7, the supported housing strategy.
Thank you. I hope you all had a chance to read, and it's a strategy outlining our 4 commitments we're making to our senior residents. Personally, for me, the key highlight in here is that we have incorporated that we want to listen to our residents, what they want, how they want their individual schemes, and I would like this to be approved. So I'll pass it to Oliver.
Thank you. So the supported housing strategy, it's a new strategy for us. It very much feeds into our broader housing strategy and strategic asset review. We've worked really closely with local residents to develop it, to understand kind of their needs and wants both now and going forward. And we've developed a number of commitments that we hope will deliver that strategy. There's a lot of asset information in there, and asset plays a really key part in the strategy, but it's also worth noting that there's a strong focus on tenant wellbeing, reducing social isolation, and working closely with key stakeholders to deliver. There is an action plan that sits alongside the strategy, which will hold the teams accountable to ensure that it gets delivered on time, and making sure that we hit those key elements. And included in the appendices is a report on the tenant engagement that we've undertaken to get to the point we are today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments on this item? If not, then we'll take the recommendations. The recommendations are the Cabinet members to review and approve the supported housing strategy and the associated appendices. We agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed. Thank you. Okay. So moving on to the next item, which is scrutiny. Item 8, scrutiny. Recommendations following the review of scrutiny by the Centre for Governance and Scrutiny. And this, I think, is going to be introduced by Councillor Allen.
Yes, as you've said, this line of work has started from a review by the Centre for Governance and Scrutiny. What is presented is largely based on their recommendations. It was also based on a lot of input from colleague members with a good level of engagement. And it broadly encourages the council to work in a more thematic way, rather than being scrutiny committees being clogged up with operation and performance detail. There are 7 main recommendations. This has been through group briefings and through scrutiny, and comments have led to changes that Mark has implemented. Overall, it's designed to improve scrutiny and increase the time available for targeted scrutiny of the administration rather than the general scrutiny of the council's operations. So I commend this to Cabinet and thank Mark for his work on it. And I'll let Mark field any questions anyone has.
Thanks, Chair. I don't really have anything to add to that introduction other than really to thank members for their input throughout this process. It's been quite a process to get here tonight to the recommendations, which we hope will make a real difference going forward. But I'm happy to take any questions that members have.
Any questions around the table? I suppose I perhaps just briefly reflect on the context of where we are with devolution and local government reorganisation on the agenda. It may well be that this change in scrutiny enables the council, all the members of the council, to participate in looking ahead and thinking about how the council, comes to whatever is coming. So I think it's in a way you could see it as quite fortuitous. Obviously reflecting finally just on how short some cabinet meetings have been that I've been at, it seems like not a bad idea that we sort of aim to have fewer of those extremely short meetings. But there is provision obviously for there to be more meetings should we need them to take decisions in a timely manner. We'll move to the recommendations if there is no others. Cabinet recommends Council considers and agrees the action plan supporting each recommendation in the report and recommends that Council agrees the proposed revised committee timetable in Appendix 3. Are we agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed. Okay. So then moving swiftly on to item 9, which is the Shopmobility contract service review. This is Shopmobility is something which has been provided principally, I think, in Hemel for a long period of time, and it's a valued service for some of our residents. And this service review looks at the next phase of that provision. Diane, did you want to say any more?
Not really, just a couple of things that this recommendation brings the service in line with the previously agreed approach to the voluntary sector commissioning that's been in operation since April, governance through an SLA agreement, went to Scrutiny who agreed with the recommendation. We had discussions around better promotion of the service, which we'd already identified as part of the review anyway, and also about access to the service from bus station and taxi ranks, which we'll discuss with CAD as we move forward and review the service provision under this SLA arrangement.
Okay. Are there any other comments?
That was the only question I wanted to ask about. Is there plans to promote it better? Because there's a big variance going on, and I can see a reflection of a COVID, but then it's gone slightly downward once it picked up. So yeah, it's good to know that plans in place.
Okay, so moving to the recommendations on that item. Purpose of the Cabinet agrees a new 2-year service level agreement for community action decorum for the Shopmobility service on the terms set out in the report. Councillor Allen.
Could it be noted that I will not comment on this?
Yes, by commenting, you've noted that you will not be commenting, so that's fine. Are all the other members of the Cabinet, apart from Councillor Anne, agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Okay. So we come to item 10, which is the Climate and Ecological Emergency Spending Proposal. And I'll hand over to Councillor Smith-Wright to introduce this one.
Yes, I see this as an investment that will bring great savings on energy and spend in the future. And it is something that I think every responsible council must prepare for. I'd like to pass over to Aidan, who will explain more.
Thank you, Councillor. Yes, so very simply, this paper seeks cabinet agreement to the spending proposal as set out. It's been developed across the council, across council teams, and is designed to support the delivery of our agreed climate emergency work programme and work towards the targets that the council has set for itself. It's been through the scrutiny process and, subject to cabinet approval, will be referred to full council.
Are there any other comments? I just have one, which is I'm quibbling slightly with the recommendation, because I understood that the £1.16 million had already been put into a climate emergency reserve and therefore was no longer new homes bonus.
That's right, the new homes bonus set up the reserve, and then this is asking to release them funds in accordance with the plan.
All right, so recommendation that Cabinet recommends that Council approves the release of £1.16 million of new homes bonus currently held in reserve for spend on sustainability projects as detailed in the report. Are we agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed. Thank you. We now come to item 11, which is the commissioning and procurement standing orders review and update according to the Procurement Act of 2023. And I'm not sure if any of the councillors fancies taking that on, so might go straight to Ben. Councillor Allen.
Well, yes, this is really just a technical piece of work to make sure that the council's corporate guidance and standing orders are consistent with the 2023 Procurement Act. It's a very complex and detailed piece of work, which Ben has done a fantastic job on, and you can quiz him on it.
Okay, Ben, your start of a 10.
I would just add, Chair, that it's been through a committee process in terms of scrutiny and following approval by Cabinet. Should you support, then we'll go to Cabinet. We'll go to Council for adoption.
Okay. I think if I could ask all the members of the Cabinet to read the recommendations quietly in their heads, I have to read it out. The Cabinet recommends that Council agrees to do all of these things here, which we'll print in the agenda when the time comes. Are we agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Apologies if anybody feels like I'm rushing. I'm not actually rushing. It's just going quite quickly. So we come to our last item for tonight, which is item 12, Council Tax Declaration Subcommittee Proposal 2025. And this comes under, again, Councillor Allen.
This committee is necessary because the County Council's formal council tax precept approval meeting does not happen until the 25th of February, which is after the date of our the full council meeting that would consider this. Therefore, we need to have some mechanism whereby we can take forward the precepts and agree it outside of the council meeting. This is something that is undertaken, this mechanism is undertaken by other councils in Hertfordshire, so it's nothing out of the ordinary. And Mark can talk to the details.
Chair, you summarise that neatly. I don't really have anything to add. It's very much a timing issue in terms of the county precept. So we're just proposing to set up this committee to formally approve the council tax.
Okay. Are there any other comments in the room? No. So we'll go to the recommendation. Number 1, Cabinet recommends to Council the creation of a council tax setting committee. And number 2, that Cabinet recommends Council agrees to the terms of reference for the committee as set out in section 2 of the report and delegates authority to the monitoring officer to make the required changes to the constitution to incorporate the committee. Are we agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed. And so that completes the business. And the meeting ends at 19:45. Thank you very much.
Thank you.